Okay. All right. So this is what the screen mock-up is going to look like. Today, what we are going to do is we are going to see how we can build a online resume with all that we have learned so far, just using HTML and CSS. Okay. Only two. And what it takes is your Visual Studio Code and a browser. That's all you need to write this particular assignment or a project that we are going to do as such. So just observe, guys, what this is a .png file, or it's just a pic, and what it contains is a mockup. Okay, mockups are nothing but the kind of how look and feel of a website is going to look like, and based on that you are going to build your website. And usually this particular thing is, if in you consider this in a real world scenario, your requirements gathering team, where it includes your business analysts and all those folks who work closely with the customer or a client, they are going to get the requirements as such, how and what need to be built. All right. Now when you're taking this mock-up or a screenshot, just observe that there is a header, and at the bottom there is a footer. All right. And lot of things in the main, we have got a pic, and on your left there is certain details about the profile. There are skills that the candidate is well versed in, and kind of a self rating, how well the candidate is in this particular technology, like Figma. He or she is 90% efficient, or they rate themselves as 90% really good. And then the languages they know, and we have a work experience. All right. And at the bottom there is also something related to education. Just observe that these, what you're seeing, individual sections, right? These are sometimes they called as cards. Okay, CRDS cards. And there is a card of education, there is a card of work experience, and then there is a profile summary kind of a card. So basically three major sections we can club into. And what you see a demarcation is, there is a certain um, percentage of the window, that web page or a viewport window, that this particular section is occupied, and then there is another section. So basically we can split that into two sections, where I can say this occupies like 30%, and this is like 70%. Okay, total viewport is like 100%. That is what we can just inform based on what you see. Now, whenever you work on any projects in the real scenario, the theme colors, font colors, or the font family that you're going to use, all that would be fed to you as your input that is given to you. This is what you need to take, and then you going to build everything from there on. All right, let's, without further ado, let's try to take this in two parts. First, we are going to build the structure using HTML, and then we are going to style that using CSS. So let me go ahead and try to open a Visual Studio Code. And here what I'm going to do is, just I'll try to create a new file which might say online resume.html. Okay, HTML or HTML, either of the extensions or file extensions that you guys can use. All right. Now what it contains is, your file is opened, and let's try to create a boilerplate. Just exclamation followed by a tab key, that will create a boilerplate. And here I can give the title as online resume. Online resume. Now let's go back to this mockup. What you're going to see, there are certain things that you can straight away observe is, inside the body, let's go ahead and create the very first thing that is called as header. Okay, let's go ahead and create something called as a header. And then inside the header, what I can give, what I observe here is, there is something, a text which is center aligned, and it says online resume. Okay, so for time being, let me go ahead and create this as a h1 tag which says online resume. All right. And then let me save this, and then we'll go ahead and create a main. So from header, After header, till there is a footer, we'll call this section as a main section, entire section. Okay, let's call that as main tag. Let's create this as a main tag. Inside this main tag, again, you can go ahead and create each sections, multiple sections, and sections can contain multiple divs and all that we're going to create. Now at the end, let's create footer. Okay. Footer, what you observe, footer has got a text that says social media connect, and then this social media connect again contains a lot of icons, social media icons. So let's say we are going to say inside the footer, let me add a p tag, let's which says, which is for paragraph. Okay, social media connect. Okay, that is what I can go ahead and say, social media connect. And then there have LinkedIn, Twitter, Workzam, there is Instagram, and then there is Facebook. Okay, now all these, if I click on Instagram, LinkedIn, then it should take me to the LinkedIn profile of the user. So that is the need here. So for that, what we need, whenever we need a link, then we need to use what is called as anchor tags, right? Anchor tags are better used using a tag. So before that a tag, I'll club all of these into a span tag, let's say, or I can put p tag as well. That's also fine. Maybe how many? There are five of them, right? So a star five will create me five anchor tags. All right. So I'll just rearrange one below the other for the readability. Now let's say first is LinkedIn. HTTPS colon front slash slash linkedin.com. Okay, that is, then I can go ahead and add whatever the need be later, but for now it is just going to be a LinkedIn. And then there is a next one, what we call it as Twitter, right? Let me add twitter.com to that. Let's say twitter.com. And then next is workzam.com. Let's say we'll add workzam.com. And then there is Instagram. And then there is Facebook. All these are different kinds of social connects that a user has his profile on, his or her profile on. And then I'll try to add another uh, attribute called target, which is underscore blank, so that I can open that in a new window. I'll just copy this into all these tags so that every tag, whenever it is clicked, will try to open it in a new window. Okay, that is what we are going to see. Let's go and see how it looks now so far. So it's very simple. Okay, there is an online resume, which is a header. There is a social media connect. We have just added the tags, but we haven't added the icons. In order to include the icons, again, we'll come across what we need to do and how we need to, that we are going to see now. Okay, now let me admit. All right. So let me go back to Visual Studio Code, and at the same time, let me open the mockup as well. Then what else it contains, guys? It contains inside the main section. Let's go ahead and see what it contains. First, there is a image. Okay, and let's cover this part, left part first, and then we'll go to work experience and then education. All right. Now here, I know inside the main, what we can do, we can create a section. Okay, this major section, we can put this entire main into two sections. This is one complete section and this is another complete section. The left section all the way till here, I can take this card as one section and club these two cards into another section. All right, so that is ideal because your entire screen is split into two parts, like 30% this, 70% this. Okay, so let me go ahead and admit. Let me add section here. Now, what this section will contain, very simple. This section will contain multiple aspects to it. One is the image and the profile summary, and then there is skills, and then there is also a section called languages. Okay, so inside the first section, I'll create another section which is for image. Okay, this is for image and this is for languages and skills. Let's say, I mean, there is no hard and fast rule that this is the way it need to be created, nothing like that. You can create inside this section, you can create div as well, division. Okay, that is also fine. Now, in the very first section, which is representing this part, what I'll do, the image and the name and this slide profile, kind of a summary kind of. All right. So what I'll do, let's say this contains a div. Div is kind of a placeholder for the image. Then it contains an image tag. Image tag, let's say image, sorry, image avatar. Okay. So this is a uh, profile image is the attribute that I'll say. All right. Now this is a profile image that I'm going to create. Let's say, yeah, this should be good enough. And let's say width is equal to 33%. The screen is getting occupied. And then once I have the image, there is something called as a name, right? So for that, I'll take h1 tag is already been utilized. Now I'll go to use h2 tag. H2 tag, which might say job party. Okay, this is the name. Let me try to increase the font size, guys, for you. All right, so here we have the name. Let's see how the output is going to look like now. All right, this is how the output is looking, guys. So far, it's an online resume, which is our header. Then there is an image. Image at the bottom contains a h2 tag, which is for the name. All right. Then once this is done, then there is a slight summary that we can see here, right? So there is designer or a UI UX designer. Then there is a city name, email ID, and password, and sorry, and the phone number or a mobile number. For that, I'll create another div section. Okay, this div section can contain individual, let's say we want to create paragraphs, like let's say 4 paragraphs. Okay, we start 4. The first is designer, or I can say senior front end developer. Let's say senior front end developer. That is the first, which is standing for designation. All right. Now, senior front end developer, and yeah, this is how it looks, senior front end developer. Then what else we have? Let's go to the mockup. There is the mockup, guys. Yeah, here it is. So then there is a city. Okay, then city we'll add. Let's go to the city. Bengaluru, India. And then we have got email ID. That is some email ID. I'm just writing some pseudo email ID here. And then there is a phone number +91, and then I'll go 987-654-3210. Okay. All right. This is how our website is going to look like so far. There is a name, there is a designation, and then city, email, and phone number. Okay. All this have been added one below the other, like what we see in the mockup. Now let's go ahead and add these 2 sections, okay, which are nothing but the skills and languages. So for that, what I can going to do now, so for that, this is one section that I have created. Let's close this section, and then and maybe what I can do is I can create another section which is already created here, which is already created. Maybe here, what I can do, I can create one div, okay, and there is another div. Okay, because there is skills and languages, right? There are two. I want to create these two. One, two, one, two. All right. So now let's say this div contains what is known as, maybe h2 is utilized, right? Yeah, maybe I can give h2 because these all have the same font. I mean, the name, skills, education, everything has got the h2 heading tag. Okay, they look similar. So let's say this is a h2 heading. Then this says skills. Okay, and so is the case here. This also will contain h2, which says languages, languages, languages. All right. So inside the skills, what we can do now, let's go ahead and see the mockup. What else it contains? The skills contains the tools and the languages that are being used. What are the tools? One is like Figma, which is like a UI UX tool, which is also used as Adobe is there, Adobe Photoshop, Illustrator, and then JavaScript. All right, let's go ahead and add them. And for that, let me add that as a p tag. How many p tags? Let's say p4. This is Figma. Then there is Adobe Photoshop, Illustrator, and then maybe JavaScript because front end developer. SCRIPT. Yeah, JavaScript. Okay, this looks fine. Let's see. So there are skills. Skills contains Figma, Adobe. Let me try to zoom a little bit so that you can view it, guys. So skills, Figma, Adobe Photoshop, Illustrators, and there is JavaScript. And mind you guys, this is something related to the styling. We'll see how we can do that. Okay. Now let's say for the time being, let me add just a percentage there. Let's say Figma contains, let's say there is a div which contains 90%, let's say. And this, what is the next one? Adobe is how many percentage? This is 80, 75, 90. All right. Now this is, it contains 80. Then this one 75 percentage, and JavaScript is like 90 percentage. All right. So this is how it looks. Figma 90, Adobe 80%, Illustrator is 75, and JavaScript is 90. All right. So that looks good so far. All right. And next is languages. Languages like English, Kannada, and Hindi. And for that as well, what I can do is I can repeat the similar thing what we have seen so far, right? Maybe for this, I'll go ahead and add the same p tag p3, which is for 3, English, Kannada, and then Hindi. All right. This is again looks familiar, and let me try to see the output. And this looks good. Languages, English, Kannada, and Hindi. All right. This is so far we are fine. And there is some horizontal rule is there. Okay. Maybe we can add this horizontal rule as well after the mm, after this section, I guess. After this section, there is a horizontal rule. Let's add this. And then maybe after this section also, I can add a horizontal rule, right? So there is a horizontal rule here, HR tag, and then HR tag. This is good. So we have created one section or one card so far, which is this part. Okay, so far here. Now let's go ahead here. What it contains, there is a work experience. All right. So for that, maybe what I can do, I can create another section. This one section, there is another section here. These two sections part of one section, which is on my left card, this card. And these two I'll club it in one sections. Maybe I'll say this as section, and this also contains section 2. Okay. And the very first section, what it contains, let's say inside this section, I'm going to add, let's say here, this work experience has got this and this three main parts, right? There is from 2015 to 18 she was working as a UI UX designer, and from 18th to 22 and 22 till current date. There are the three companies the profile is working on. Like first is at anything.com, something.com, or everything.com. These are the three organizations that she was working at the different time period. So there are three major sections under this. So maybe what I can do, this contains three divs. All right. So before that, I'm going to add a H2 tag, that is for what? Work experience, this one. And then we are going to add this into div. Okay. So now what I can do, let's go ahead and see. This font is fine, H2. This, let's say we take it as H4, and this will take it as maybe H6 or H5. Okay, yeah, let's do that. Here there is a div. Inside the div, there is a H4 section, which I can name it as what? Senior front end developer. Okay. FRONT front end developer at thing.com. Okay. So this is what it is. Then there is a time period, right? Then for this, I'll add a maybe H5 tag. H5 tag, which says what, to November 2022 to current. November 2022 to current. All right. And then at the last, there is some description of what kind of work the user has done. Okay. So maybe I'll add this as a paragraph which contains a lorem text of 20 words, let's say. Right. So what it contains. All right, now let's see this. Yeah, there is a work experience, and then there is a designation and at what company he or she was working, and then the time period and brief description of the job. This looks good. Maybe we can repeat it for other two as well. So again, I can go ahead and add a H4 tag. Now in this case, what was the designation? Front end developer at something.com. Okay, front end developer at something.com. All right, this is good. And then I'll add H4 tag that talks about December 2018 to October 2022. December 2018 hyphen October 2022. All right, then there is a P tag which contains a lorem text of 20 words again. This is fine. And then there is another div that contains again H4 tag, which says what? UI UX designer at anything.com. UI UX designer at anything.com. All right, this is good. Then I add H5 tag, which is again Jan 2015 to November 2018. Okay, Jan 2015 to November 2018. That is the time range the user has worked on that period in that company. And then there is a lorem text, again P tag with lorem text of 20 words. All right. Now let me go ahead and see the output so far. So there is a work experience. There is this first set of work experience latest, and then there is this, and then there is this, which is good. Which is good. Then then what I'm going to do, then there is this part where is that's called an education part, right? So let's see what education that we can add here, maybe within the let's say here is the section that we already created, and after this section, for every there is a horizontal rule, right? So let's add this as a HR here, and then there is a HR here. Okay, so this and this are added, horizontal rules are added, and then in this section, which is stands for education, and this education contains what, guys? Now this is the section, this is the same h2 tag I'm going to use, work experience, like the way I've used for work experience. The same h2 tag, we'll use it for education. And then there are two divs that I can add, okay, like the way we have added, we have seen uh, div start 2, which will add two divs. And this div contains what, guys? Front end development certification from skillsam, that I can give as h4 tag, front end development certification skillsam. Okay, that is your h4 tag. And then I can add a h5 tag, which will say what this, when was this certificate obtained. It was in Jan 2015. All right, then I'm going to go here. This is also an h4 tag. What it says, B in computer science, MSRIT Bangalore. That is the qualification in computer science. And I can add MSRIT Bengaluru, right? Yeah, then this looks good. And then 2011 to 2015. Okay, then I'll add h5 tag, 2011 to 2015. Then again, this contains this, and this are two paragraphs that we can add with the lorem text. Let me add in the first part lorem text with maybe 30 words. And then here, paragraph with lorem text of 30 words. All right. Now let me go ahead and see the output so far. All right. In the education section also looks okay. So this looks good. Now so far, guys, we have almost completed the skeleton is what I see. Let me go to the mockup. We have created the photo, we have created the summary, then we have added the skills and their percentages, and then there are languages that we have added. Footer has been added, and there is education. We have added two sections, and all these three sections under the work experience is done now. So what we have done is the skeleton is created now. That is the, again, I need to add a horizontal rule, I guess. Let me add that here. So this part I'm talking about, this one. Let me go there. Between the two divs, I can go ahead and add HR, which is for horizontal rule. It is a self-closing tag, right? So basically empty tag. All right. So now this marks the completion of your HTML part, guys. Now the real fun begins. So let me go ahead and see this output. All right, this looks good. Now let's go back to the mockup and see. So first, what it contains, guys. There is a header which has certain color, which is a blue color, and this color code has been given to us, which is a hexa code that we can utilize. And the fonts are all in black color. There are some font icons being used, or we call these as a web icons, right? We are going to use this font awesome web icons, and this a font is being used as a font family of Roboto is provided by Google Fonts, and let's try to include those, okay, one by one. So for that, very first thing what we need to do is, guys, go back here. So let's say let's go to font dot google fonts.google.com. Let's go here. So what this website contains is it contains fonts.google.com. So this is the font that we are going to use. There are almost like 1490 font families. They are readily available for you to use free of cost. Okay. So now if I select this automatically, and then there are different ways that I can select, whether I need to use a select thin version, or some thickness of about font weight is about 300, or whatever need be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just say a regular 400. This is what I'm going to use. Okay. So the moment I select it, there is on your left, what you can see is these are the links that I need to include my link tag here. This is already provided by Google. What I need to do is just copy this. Okay. Just copy this and add it to your file. What it contains basically a Google font family. Roboto is being added. Okay. Now just include these, and then inside the CSS rule, I can include this as well. Okay. Now what I can do for that, maybe for that, let's say I'll add a style tag, which is basically for internal styling. Then for let's say star. Okay, which is, guys, star is for universal selector, right? So I'm going to just copy and paste this, which means the star for anything and everything inside this web page, use the font family as Roboto. If this is not available, then use sans serif. This is what is being said. So how is this details that I'm going to add, guys? This is, I'm getting it from font.google.com. Okay. This provides the content delivery. There is a content delivery network, CDN. This is the CDN path we are going to use and link that in our web page using the link tag. And then this font family, which is Roboto, family is equal to Roboto, is available to us, and we are going to use it here inside the style tag. So let's save it and let's go ahead and see. And now you can see the font family has changed to Roboto. Okay. Earlier it was Times New Roman, and now it is getting changed to Roboto. Okay. This looks a little bit good as per what the need is. Okay. The requirement that says in our mockup that we are going to use Roboto font family. Now, what else we have here, guys? We also have these web icons, right? In order to use that web icons, what we need to do is we need to go back to the cdn dot cdnjs.com. This is a open source CDN that is made available by a company called Cloudflare. Okay, there are almost around 4,386 libraries that are available. So for this, what we are going to use is Font Awesome. Okay, Font Awesome we are going to use, and in that we'll consider the CSS. Okay, so any CSS file you can go ahead and include. That shouldn't be a problem. So for us, right, what we are going to use, we are going to use Font Awesome CSS awesome min file. We are going to see. Let's say, yeah, this should be good. This Font Awesome min file is good for us. So for that, what I can do, I can just copy this link. That's all. Just copy this link and try to include it here. Oh, sorry. I'll add the link tag first, link tag, and the relationship is style sheet, and inside the href, I'm going to include that file, fontawesome.min file. Okay, make sense? And
Yes.
now, yeah, now let's see something that it works or not. Okay, for that, in our mockup, what is there? Let's say there is a briefcase icon here, right, inside the designer. Let's consider that and let's try to add that. Let me go ahead. Inside here there is a briefcase icon, right? So here I'll add what is called as I tag. I tag you need to use, because again, why we need to use I tag, guys? If you go back to font awesome website and then go to icons and go to these free and open source icons, and here let's say I'll add, let's say BRIEF briefcase. Okay, this is the icon that is going to be used. Now if you see here, this particular icon, I can go ahead and utilize it. All right, this should be fine. I can either I can use FA solid or FA previous. This is also fine. Let's go ahead and I have copied this and I'll try to include that here. That's it. And let me go back to the output to just view it, whether I'm getting what is expected. So this is not included. So that particular link file that I have added is not containing that. Maybe what I can do is, instead of FA solid, I'll just add FA. Let's see. FA. All right, this should be enough. Now, this is also not working. Maybe I need to use Allmin, maybe this font library instead of that. Yeah, this should be good. All right. So what we can see here is this particular icon shows up. Okay, just we tested and validated it, just to make sure that we are pointing to the right library in our CDN. All right. Now what you can see here is we have added FA briefcase. All right. This is for the font icons that we are trying to use. And then next one, what I can do, I can add for this. If you go back to the screenshot or the mock-up, this is nothing but a home icon, guys. This is a home icon. If I zoom a bit for you, this is a home icon. Let's include the home icon here. So I'll use the class, which is fa hyphen home. Okay, this should be good. Fa hyphen home. And if I go back to the output, yeah, the home icon is seen to me. And then go ahead, let me try to include the other icons as well. Icon class is equal to fa, then envelope. This is an envelope. envelope, envelope. Okay, and then there is, finally we have class is equal to fa, then fa phone. That is for phone number, right? I can use fa phone. All right, this will make me, all the four icons are visible to me. Okay, now we have added the icons for the first thing, and then in the similar way we are going to see where all icons are there. Let's try to complete the web icons first. So let's say, what else we have in the mockup? Yeah, there is something called as asterisk symbol is there, right? Let's go ahead and add this asterisk symbol in front of the skill. Okay, so let's go where in this section there is skill. Here I'll add another I tag. Sorry, I tag. Then there is a class that I can add, fa a s e r I s k. Okay, this is good. Asterisk. Then yeah, I can see the asterisk symbol here. And what else we have got, guys? Asterisk is there. Then at the, yeah, there is some kind of a globe, right? This is a globe. So let me try to add a globe here. There's I tag. Then we'll add a class is equal to fa hyphen or a dash Globe, Globe, Globe. All right. So where is the output? I can see the globe here. This is good. And what else we have? Work experience. Okay. Now for work experience, what is the icon I can see here? Work experience has kind of a briefcase, right? Yeah, suitcase it is, not briefcase. Because briefcase, guys, we have used this icon here. Briefcase icon is something like this. So this is a briefcase icon and this is a suitcase icon. Let's add the suitcase icon for work experience. So again, I'm going to add a I tag. I tag, it contains class, then I can add FA class. Again, there is FA hyphen SUITCAS. Okay, suitcase icon. So for that, yeah, this is what suitcase icon would look like. And then finally, there is for education, there is also, we have added some icon here, right? So what is this icon? This is an icon for calendar. Okay, this is a calendar icon. We'll try to include the calendar icon somewhere here. Yeah, I'll add class FA hyphen CALENDER calendar. Okay. Now, what is it looking? Calendar. Can I see calendar? This. Oh, it's not being seen. What I have used correctly. ANDAR. Okay, yeah. This is the mistake. I think it is calendar. Yeah. Now it should be good. Yeah. Now I can see a calendar here. Yeah, I can go ahead and add these calendars for all the dates. Calendar, calendar here. So all these 1, 2, and 3 contains calendars. And what else, guys? Again, education, what education? After the education, what it has, this also has got calendar, I guess. These two have got calendar. Again, I'll add a calendar web icon over here and then over here. But there is also an icon for education. Okay, so now what is this icon? I can see, oh, okay. So this particular, right, guys, this is kind of a certificate icon. What you see here is, this is a certificate icon. So let me add that. Let's add CERTIFICAT, certificate. Yeah, this is good. So now, so far, that's a good thing. We have added all the icons that are available. So is there any other icon? Yeah, there is also icon at the bottom, right, guys? These icons also we can go ahead and add. Let's include these icons. Let me traverse that from the top. Let's see. Okay, we have added all these skills. We have added languages, then work experience, this calendar, this is added. Then we have added the education. This is a certificate icon. And then at the bottom, right, we have got this social media icons. Let's add those as well. Okay. So let me go back to VS Code. Yeah, we have added this anchor tag. Inside the anchor tag, what I can do is I will try to include those icons here. Let's say the first one is what is this? This is a LinkedIn, right? So the icon is LinkedIn. Okay, so let me check that first. um, LinkedIn icon is not working. FA LinkedIn. FAS will work. Let's try another icons. Let's see, Twitter. That is also not getting shown up. Maybe I can go ahead and use glyphicons if that is not necessary. You know, guys, we have already seen this in our tech examples, right? Let me pull the same icons. So what icons we had used here? FAB we have used. Let's try to see FAB works. FAB is the output, guys. Is it here? Let me close this, close this, close this. Yeah, FAB is kind of working. So let me try to use FAB. All right. So let me close this. I'll try to use FAB. So go back to Visual Studio Code. I'll try to copy the same thing and paste it here. And here, what is the, I'll try to use workzam. For workzam, I don't need to add anything, just FAB with W. That's enough. And then there is this, which is Instagram. Instagram, Instagram. And then there is Facebook. So let's see. All our icons are added. Yeah, there is LinkedIn, there is Twitter, there is Workzam, there is Instagram, and there is Facebook. So what we have completed so far is we have added all the um, um, icons that are needed for the web page. All right. Now let's go ahead and see the very first one. What is this? This is basically for a heading. So this is a heading tag that we have added. So what's the color? There is a color that we are going to use. Let's go ahead and see. Okay. For this, let me go here and let's try to add a color. H1, heading 1. So this heading 1, right? Maybe I can give this a class called head. Okay. Just to differentiate class, let me call this as head. And this class, I'm going to make use of that class as a CSS selector, right? That is dot head. That is the CSS selector for it, which is also called as a class selector. Maybe I'll add dot head, then open and close brackets. So inside that, I'm going to add certain styling to it. So what it contains, the first one is it need to be aligned at the center, right? So text align is center. Okay, so if I go back, yeah, it is center. And then what else it should contain? Now this contain a white color, right? Color, let's say color is white. Okay, that is a font color basically. And then there is a background color that I can change to blue. We have given the hexa code for blue is, we have given that hash 3F5 1B5. That is what we have given. Then let's see. Okay, this looks good. And at the same time, what we can do, we can go ahead and add the, let's say, padding as well as some border margin. So let's say padding is equal to 10 pixel and let's not add any margin to it. This is how it looks. Yeah, this looks good. And reset it. Yeah, this looks good. And this is what is expected. At the top, we have this header created. Okay, makes sense, guys? And then let's go ahead. What else we have? We have next is this image, and there is a gap that is created, and then we have this image need to be added. All right, let's go ahead. Now Let's go ahead and add this main. So let's create for main, right? We'll add some class to it. So let's say we add a class called container. So what I'm going to do is I'll try to define what the container should be. Okay. Let me go here. Dot container. There is another class that we are trying to create, guys. Why? Because we wanted this particular, the length, right? We'll set that to constant, even though it varies. The website, the screen might vary where you look. Some might look at the laptop, some might go ahead and look at a bigger screens, like 30, 40-inch screens. And for that we'll set the maximum width here. Okay, so basically it will set the max width. For that, let's say margin left, will set it to auto. Okay, what it does, whether you have a margin left and right, we are setting it to auto. So what this will do is it will take what is there at the max width. So max width, let's say we have kept it as like 1200 pixel. So that will be the maximum width of the container. Now if I go back to this, from here to here, the maximum width of the container, you might have seen this, guys. If you observe this, this is the, from left to right, the width is maximum, we have set it as 1200 pixel. That is the max that it can take. Now with that max setting, we have given this kind of a margin, that is auto set. Margin left and right are auto set, maintaining the width of maximum to be 1200 pixel. Now if you can observe this, it's all aligned onto your left side. That looks good, except the footer. So again, we can go ahead and add the footer as well. Let me add, what is the footer look like? Let's create the footer first. So there is a footer at the bottom. Here also it is center aligned and the font color is white. So what I can do is, let's go back to this. Let's add this, a class called foot for the footer. Class foot. So the same details I can add like a header. So I can give comma dot foot. So what I'm trying to do is, these are like multiple selectors, right? You have got this selector and this selector, both selectors are having the same property. Okay, that is what I have set it. Now if I go back, it is looking good, it is looking good, but the icons are not the way that we wanted. So if you go back to the font, the icons, if you see, guys, these are all in white. So but now these are all on different colors. So let's make a change to those uh, icons. So now let's go back where these icons are. So the icons are here. Okay, so in order to make these, we need to go for the anchor tags. Okay, so whenever we need to go for the anchor tags and keep those as a selectors. Let's go back here, and let's say I want to say a anchor tag selector. So let's say color is white, and yeah, color is white. Now let's see how it looks. Yeah, this looks good, but it is not appearing in the same line, right? We wanted that to be in the same line, because this is all appearing in the same line. So because your p tag is a block element, right? That is the reason it is putting these elements into the next line. So what, for that, what I need to do is, let's go ahead back to the footer, and let's say, so what else here? We have p tag, we have, and then we have this. Okay, let's go ahead and create a class called social. Okay, now inside this social, right, I will make some changes here. I mean, let's see if that can be done or not. Or instead of that, what I can do, I can just go ahead and end this p tag here rather than there. What it will do, so everything will be in the same p tag, but you have a span, and span is an inline element, and it will continue right here. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, this is solving our problem. Instead of going and creating another class called social and try to do another things for it, so this is a better approach to put all this in the same line. Okay, but there is a space here, right? So how do we achieve that spacing in between these icons? If you observe, guys, there's a space here, here, and there are equidistant. Okay, and if you go ahead and see our output, they are all like very close to each other. So for that, what I can go ahead and do is just add a, I'll try to remove this is not needed. Now let's go ahead to the anchor tag, and let me add what is called as padding. Let's say I'll add like 5 pixel. So if I add a 5 pixel, yeah, this gives a little bit spacing, but I'll just increase some more. Let me say it added a 10 pixel. Yeah, this looks good. So these are looking good. So what I have is a header, I have a footer that is as expected from my screen here. Okay, that is my mockup. All right. So moving on to the next thing, what we have is, so we need to create these two sects, right? So there is one section here and there is another section of this. So there are like 30, 40 or 12 or 33, 66 kind of a division to the viewport, or equal sharing of the viewport. Then for that, let's say, um, let's say I'll create a tag for it, I mean class for it. Okay, so this is a main section contains two sections, right? The first section is what, this part on your left, all the way till here, and the second section is this part. So there are two sections. So for this section, right, let me try to give a name to it. Okay, name in the sense class to it. Class, let's say I'll name it as 1/3. 1/3, and for this I'll name it as 2/3. It's just a class, guys. Any name you can give. Okay, these are all user defined. You can go ahead and give any class. Just I'm giving this class so that I can make some styling using those class selectors. Okay, now let's say 1/3. So 1/3, I have selected this 1/3. So now if you observe this, what is happening is everything is appearing one below the other. But this is not how we wanted. We want something on the left, something on the right. If we want to arrange left and right, what we need to do, guys, what kind of a display property we need to utilize here? Can anyone answer? If we want to put this one next to each other, like the way we did it in our example of putting the three images next to each other, what we can do is we can go ahead and use a property called float. Float is left. Okay, and then I can set the width for it so that it's not occupying the entire window. So let's say width, I'll set it to like 25%. Okay, let's say. Now and let's see the output here. So yeah, this is how it looks, guys. Now if I say 25% of the viewport that I have set, so this is 25% and the rest is like 75%. Okay, so now I can see they are coming next to each other. And maybe explicitly what I can do is the same 2/3 that I have created, right? 2/3 is a class that I have created right over here. I'm going to use the same class and make that also as float left, will float left, but we'll set the width for it. Let's say, let me set this width as like 70%. 70%. Let's see. So it is appearing one below the other. It is not working. Maybe I'll say 66%. This is good. This is good. So now, one again, there is a problem that appears now. What is happening? So my the social media icons also will start the float on the left. So guys, we already seen that, right? If we don't clear the float, it will continue on to the next elements. So now what we have given, there are two sections in the main we have created, right? The section one we have named it as a one third, and section two we have named it as two third, and they are moving next to each other. Then if we don't stop the float, like float will continue to the left, and what element is there after this? There is a footer again will try to float to the left, and it will appear somewhere here. Okay, so now this we need to avoid. What we need to do, for that float to stop, we need to clear the float, right? So what I can do is, let's say, I'll add here another class called um, clear float. Clear float, and the same class I'm going to use and say dot clear float, and inside this I'll say clear property with the value called both, which means left or right, whatever it is, I want to clear that. Let's see how it looks. Yeah, now it has sorted and it has come to the bottom. So we have cleared the float rather than coming to the left here. It is now coming at the bottom. That is good. That makes sense now. And what else? Again, there is some spacing that we need to give here, because if you observe here in the mockup, there is a kind of a spacing at the top and spacing at the bottom, right? Maybe I can go ahead and add that. Let's say in the container, I'll create something called as margin. Margin, let's say top, and the margin at the bottom. Margin at the bottom. I'll add two classes here, margin top and margin bottom. So what I'm going to do for the margin top and bottom, I'm just basically setting some pixels here for the margin. Dot margin top, let's say margin hyphen top is equal to, let's say, 16 pixel. Okay, and then the same is the case for margin bottom. Say margin bottom also I want to add margin bottom, which is also like 16 pixel. I'll try to set it pixel. So now let's go back to the output, what we are seeing. So yeah, now I can see certain space created here. Okay, this is what I wanted, because in our mockups, right, this space we needed. After the header there is a space here, and at the bottom also there is a space here. So we have created the space here, and also the space here is created. So this is good. So margin top and bottom are now created, and this is how. And why is this image so small? Let's go back. So where we have added the image somewhere in the first section, right? Yeah, we have made this as 33%, guys. That is the reason. What will happen is, so this section's 33% it will take. So we don't want this entire is a one section, right? So the section from here to here is 100%. Out of that, it is just taking 33%. So instead of that, let's make it as 100%. Now it will be a little bigger. Yeah. Now this looks good. Okay, this is what we needed, right? So if you observe, this is what we needed. Again, there is certain thing that we need to observe here. We'll do that one by one, but for now, there is an image that is looking bigger. There are all the things that are on the left, which is fine, and again there are a couple of sections on the right, which is also fine, and that is what is needed from us now. Let's, if you observe, these all we called it as cards, right, guys? These all we called it as cards. And let's try to create these three cards now. Okay, basically this section is one card, and this is another card, this is another card. So for that, let's go ahead and create what is known as a um, let's go back to the Visual Studio Code. And where is my card comes? Yeah, let's go ahead and add card here. So this is one third is one card, and let's create this card first. So I have added dot card as any name you can give, guys, not needed the same name what I'm trying to give here. Let's say this card has got let's say, what is this? I can go ahead and do. How is this looking? And now for this, what you observe here, right, it's kind of a protruding out. This is done by what is known as a box shadow. Okay, box shadow is a property that we need to use. So just to give you the background, right, how the box shadow works, let's open the code zam. Okay, let's say I have created a p tag. Let's say I've created a p tag, and the p tag ends here. P tag ends here. Then let's say I am adding a skills am here. Now inside the skills am p tag, I'll try to add certain CSS here. Or what I'll do, I'll add background color. Background color is indigo. Background color is added. Color is made to white. Let's say padding is like 20 pixel. Okay. So now this looks a little bit okay. Now, if you observe, let's say I want to add a property called box shadow. Box hyphen shadow. HADOW. Now, let's say I'll add 0, and then I'll add like a 4 pixel, and then let's say 10 pixel and 0. If you observe, maybe this is too much of a, let's say there is a gray color to it. Just to consider the box shadow, how we are going to achieve this. So let's say box hyphen shadow is added, and then I'm going to add like 4 pixel, let's say 10, and then there is again a 0 that has been added. If you observe some color, pixel 0, and maybe RGBA color. That is for RGBA, guys. This is for a property that we have used, right? RGBA, red, green, blue. So if you observe just this 0 pixel, 4, let's say 4 pixel, and then there is a 10 pixel that is added, and then there is 0. Now, let's say added a red. Okay, now if you observe, guys, there is a color that is shade kind of this. Can you observe this, guys?
Yes, sir.
This particular property, it makes you look that particular box or element a kind of more visible or protruding out of the screen. That can be done using the box shadow property. Okay, so that is the same property that is being used in this. If you see, the background is little gray, and then this is coming out. Okay, so that is because of the property that we are trying to use it here. All right, makes sense. Now
Yes,
let's
sir.
now let's go ahead and add this. So for that, what I can do is, so prior to that, Let's go back. Now this is completely white background, right? So let's change this background. How we can do that? Let's go here. So let's say I'll for the body itself I'll add a class. Um, light gray, light gray color. I'm trying to add to the entire body, and for this, what I'll do, maybe at the top itself I'll add it light gray. Let's say color of the font is like a black I'll set, and then there is a background color I'll set. Okay, background color, and that is I'll set it to light gray, like maybe F9 F9 F9. Okay, so this is fair enough. This is a gray color. If you observe this, guys, the entire body of the resume, online resume, has been set to a light gray color. Okay, now what I can do is use this card property and try to make the element or the card that can show out. All right. So for that, what I need to do is I'll first set the background color to white, because that way this will looks a little different. Let's go back to the, yeah. If you observe here, the entire background is different, whereas this is white. Okay, I have changed the entire background to white because of this card class that I have added to one third. Okay, so now let me add a box property to it, which is box shadow property. Box shadow, hmm, let's say 0 4 pixel 10 pixel. Okay, 0, and let's see, let's observe this how it looks now. Yeah, this looks a bit good now. So if you observe this, guys, this looks a little bit front, right? Can you see this box shadow happening?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this looks a good now. So again, maybe at the bottom I can't see this. Okay, let's say I want to add margin bottom, is let's say 16 pixel. Let's go back. Yeah, now I can see this space here. It was all touching to the footer. So I just wanted this to be removed and just have a little bit of spacing here. And that I have added using margin bottom is equal to 16 pixel. Okay. Maybe I can add little bit of padding as well. Padding, let's say 16 pixel. 16 pixel. Padding is like for all, top, bottom, left, right, everything. So now you can see this spacing here, top, left, right, and at the bottom, all the four sides the padding has been added, and that is what you can see in this as well, like this top, this is a top, this is right, and right at the bottom is bottom, and then this is left on this left side. So we have added the padding which is needed. So we can see this, we can observe this, which is looking good now, which is looking good. And what else we can add to the card property? Let's say, yeah, this is good. This is good enough. Okay. Now let's go ahead and do the same thing for these two sections as well. Let's say I want to add the same card property to, let's say, where is this work experience, guys? Yeah, here, right? Work experience. Here I can go ahead and add. Yep, here I can go ahead and add. Yeah, now I can see this and this are two, but they are kind of overlapping, which is fine. But I need to put that into two sections. If you observe, this entire thing is taken up as a one card, but we don't need that way. We wanted this to be in two cards, work experience as one card and education as one card. So for that to happen, again, I need to use this class rather than two-third. Instead of here, I can add a class here. Class is equal to card for this section, which is work experience. And again, class is equal to card for education. So these two classes now have Yeah, this is good. Yeah, this is one card and this is another card. Okay, but these are like overlapping. Let's see what can be done for this. Okay, let's see that one by one. Now at least you can see there is some action happening. It is very much close to what we have seen so far. Now let's go ahead. What else we can do for this? Let's say we have this image. Okay, image has got this, but this particular name, right? If you observe, it is coming on to this particular image itself, overlapping on that image. How we can do that? Remember this interesting property that we saw: position is equal to relative and position is absolute. So this image we can set it as a relative, whereas this can take a absolute position. So in relation to this we can set it. Okay, that we can do it. So for that, what I need to do first, I need to give certain class position for an image as a relative image. Okay, so for that, what I can do, I'll go back to images. So there is an image here and there is a name here. Now for this class, let's say I'll add a class name called as display, let's say display relative. Okay, this is one class that I have added. So the same class I'm going to go and take dot display relative position is equal to relative. Now this is fine. Now position is relative is set, but what I need to put is I need to put that name onto the image. So how can I put that? For that I need to make another class for this, so that let's say image caption. So img image caption is the class that I have created. So if I go back here, image caption, then for this image caption, right? So what I need to do, I need to make this position as absolute. So if I make that as absolute, then what will happen? If you observe, it will take it will take a little bit of position here. So now it is not taking the position. Why? Reason being, why this is not taking, guys? I need to set where this need to take place. Okay, this need to take place at certain position. So let's say left is equal to 0. So left, for the left margin that I'm talking about. So the left margin I'm setting at 0, and then maybe bottom I'll set it as 0. Okay, so both are setting at 0. So let's go ahead and see. Yeah, now this is good. So bottom is also 0, left is also 0. Now I can see this image is getting that name on top of that image. Okay, so now what else I can do? Yeah, there is certain space I can leave here. Okay, it is starting from here, right? Maybe there is a space here that is coming up. So what I can do, I can go ahead and add the padding, let's say 16 pixel. So if you observe, now, yeah, now I can see the space here. So this looks good now. This is what we needed. And yeah, I mean, this is fine. Okay. Make sense, guys, how we got this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I know this is taking a little bit time. Let's complete this today itself so that we'll have this mini project completed. Just a second. And what else we have got, guys? Couple of things. Let's say, yeah. So let's say these colors we need to set. Okay, these are all like blue color, right? Icons. Maybe we can take these icons and set them. Let's go ahead. So for icon, let's say, where is the icon? Yeah, for this icon, maybe I can say text icon. Okay, I have created another class for all these icons. Let's say I have added a class called text icon. So for this text icon, What is the icon? It is currently in black color, but we wanted that to be in blue color. So let's go ahead and see. So color is equal to, what is the blue color code that we have used already? This is the code we have used. Let's use the same code, hexacode. Yeah. Now, if I go back and see the output, yeah, this looks good. But there is some need here. There is a spacing here. Okay. There is a spacing that has been set on the right side of the icon. That we can go ahead and set it. Let's say, how can I set that spacing? I can try to utilize a padding. Okay. Padding only on the right side. Padding right, I can go ahead and say, let's say 15 pixel, or let's say 16 pixel. Save it, and let's go ahead and see. Yeah, this is good. This is good. I can see the icon and followed by a name, and the same thing I can go ahead and set. So for that, what I need to do, I don't have to do anything, just copy the class name and add it to all the icons. Okay, all the icons I can go ahead and add. And now when I add that, if you see, all these icons have become the same styling. All right. And what else we have? But this is a little bit bigger than the normal icons. So all this skill is bigger, and this language is bigger, this is bigger, and this is smaller. Okay. So what I can do is, I'll set all these as a text icon, text icon, and then I can make another class called text icon large, just to make that. So this and this property will remain the same. Only thing what is changing is font size. I'll change. Okay. So I'll make this as a larger. So where I'm going to use this particular class, guys, I'm going to use that class for skills. Let's see where there is skills added. Oh, asterisk. Yeah, I'll add the class here. Let's see how it looks now. Yeah, this is a bit bigger than these icons, which is good. This is what we needed. And in the same way, I can go ahead and add that for languages. Okay. And work experience and education. So let's see, there is a work experience here. And then I can go ahead and add that to education as well. All right, let's go back and see our output. Yeah, this looks good. So this is bigger, this is bigger, this is bigger. All right, this looks good. And now, what else I can do? Uh, yeah. Now, here is the something that we need to put this progress right now. How can we do? If you observe slightly, there is a gray color which is like 100%. On overlapping on top of this is this a 90%, which is like a bluish color. Again, all the cases are similar. So what we can do is, let's go ahead and create certain class here. Let's say. So, what is that? Let's say we will create a class called progress. Okay, let's go ahead and see. Dot progress. Progress is one class. So this class, what we'll see, we'll make this a background color as F1, or let's make it as F1. All right. So this is a light grayish color. Okay. And then width, I'll set that to 100%. Okay. And then I'll make the, let's see how it looks so far. And in order to do that, I need to add this class. I need to add this class to where? I need to add this class here. Let's say this is a div, and div contains, let's add div inside a div. Okay. Why? I'll tell you. Maybe this is like 90%. Now this, I'll add a class. Class is equal to progress. Now let's see how it looks. So if you observe this, guys, there is a 90%, and this looks like a grayish color, which we have added. Okay, through what? Through a progress class. The background color we have set it to a gray, and width is 100%. That is the reason it is taking 100% of this section, and then 90% is being shown. But again, we wanted this to be a curved, right? For that, we can go ahead and say border radius, because that is where we can create a rounded corners, right? Radius, 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 let's say 16 pixel. Okay. So now, yeah, now if you can observe, there is a curve here, there is a curve here. That is good. That is what we needed. Now I have created div inside a div. Now this div, I'll make it as another class, let's say, which will be kind of a progress, maybe 90. I'll make this as a 90, because for 90%, I'll make another class which is called as 80, which is for 80%. Okay, in the same way. So now let me add this for all the divs that we have created. For this div, we have added 80%, and I'll create another div. Okay, and this div is like 80%. Okay. So in the same way, what I'll do, I'll add this as 75%, and I'll add this one as 90%. Okay. This is like 75, and this is 90. Now, if I observe, this all looks like similar. Now this opens here. This is not closed here, right? So I need to close this tag. That is the reason it is all looking all jumbled up. All right. Yeah. Now, if you can observe, this is 90, 80, 75, and 90%. But now what we need is this blue color on top of that. Okay, that shows the percentage, like 100 percentage out of that 90 is, it will occupy 90% of that width. So for that, what I can do, I will create this progress 90 as a kind of another a class, and that class I can go ahead and utilize somewhere here, hot 90, and I'll add the same features. But instead of this color, I'm going to use a blue color. I'm going to use a blue color, and this 90%, 100, instead of the 100%, I'll make this width as a 90%. Okay, and it will have a rounded corners. That is also fine. And now let's go ahead and see how it looks. Yeah, this looks good. Now, out of this 90%, and this is occupying, but if you observe, this is in white color and center aligned. So we'll make that as well. But now currently in our output, how is it looking? It is in black color and left aligned. So we'll make it as a center, and color will change it to white. So I'll go ahead and say color is white, and then text alignment will be center. So now, yeah, this looks good. Now, if you observe, there's a 90% which is occupying the 90% out of this, and it is center line. In the same way, we'll repeat it for the 80 and 75. Let's go ahead and create the same thing. Just we'll rename it as 80%. Okay. So for 80%, the width I'm going to change, only thing is 80. And then in the same way, I'm going to use 75% here. Okay, and the width I'm going to change is 75. That's all, and I'm going to use these class wherever that is needed. Now for this, uh, this is 90%, which is good, and for this class I'll make it as 80%. Sorry, this is 80%. We'll remove this, and this is 75%. because that is the class that we have created for 75%, and this will make it as class is 90%. Instead of 80, we'll make it as 90%. Now let's go ahead and see. Yeah, this is good. This is what we needed. And if you observe this, guys, this is looking exactly what we wanted. Okay, like the way that is seen in our mockups. Good. Now this is on our left side, everything is sorted out, and on the right side, let's go and see what is happening here. This color is slightly reduced in a kind of a grayish color. So what is the tag that is used for this? Let's close this tag instead of opening. 1/3 is completed. Now let's go to 2/3. 2/3 has got this particular tag, H4 tag, which says senior developer and all. This is looking a slightly grayish color. Okay. Now for that, we'll use the H4 tag as a selector. H4 selector. Let's go and say H4 selector. We are going to say color. Color is equal to, let's say, dark gray. Dark gray. Now let's see how it looks. Yeah, this is looking good. Now all these are looking, H4 tags are all grayed out. This is good. And now what else is there? Now this for current, right? If you observe there, for current, there is kind of a background is set. So let's see that. Now, in order to make that, where is the current? Let's go ahead and find it first. Yeah, here is the current. Now, how can I style only the word current? By using a span tag. Span is a very important contributor here, guys. Inside the span, I'm going to add this because span is an inline element. It's not going to change anything. If we see the output even now, it is just looking the same. It is current here, but only thing is I need to make the font color as white, but the background I need to change it. So let's go ahead and say for this span, I'll make that class as current. Just I'll name the class as current. So I'll use this class as current and copy it. And I'm going to go to the style tag dot current. And then inside the current, what I'll do is, let's say color is equal to white. And then background color, I need to change it to that blue, right? I'll copy that blue hexacode. And what else I can do? Let's see the output. Yeah, this is okay, but I need to put some padding to it. Let's see. Let's say padding is 5 pixel. So if I add 5 pixel, it will become a little bigger. Okay, but the edges I need to round them. Okay, so for that I'll use border radius, which is maybe I'll add 5 pixel. Okay, let's see. Yeah, now this is looking good. So this is also is taken care. Okay, this is how it looks, and this is how it looks currently here, which is absolutely fine. Now what else is happening? This fonts are blue, but here it is still black. So yeah, I mean, we have already created that class. Maybe we can use that class. What is the class that we created, guys? Text icon. I'll use that class and add them to calendar. Let's go ahead and find where the calendar is. Yeah, calendar is here. Oh, yep. Yeah, let's add it here, the class, and then again I'll add this class here, and then I'll add the class here, and at the same time I'll add it for education section as well. Next second. Now, if I save it, yeah. Now, if you observe, this calendar is looking the blue in color, which is exactly what is needed as per the mockups. Okay, so what else is remaining for us? I think we have taken care of everything, I believe. Just observe. We have added this. We have added multiple sections. Let me see. All is good, good, good. Yeah. I think most of them, most of it is taken care. Only thing is we needed this part, right? So what I can do, yeah, I can add a little bit of margin. Let's go to the cards then. Okay, let's go to the cards because I needed to give this particular spacing, guys. This needed because now it looks like it is overlapping. Let's go to the card that we have created. So where is the card? Yeah, card is here. And inside the card, let's go ahead and add margin. Now top, I don't give any margin. So for the bottom, 8 pixel, top, right, left, and top, right, bottom, and left. Okay, all 8 pixel I'm going to use. And let's see that. Where is that? Yeah, this is good. So I can see the spacing here. I can see the spacing here. And for this, right, maybe a little bit of spacing need to be added here. Then for that, what I can do, I'll try to go to that section. Let's see there. Yeah, this is good. This is fair enough. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now it is good. I can see the spacing here and spacing here. And yeah. So these cards are looking good now, guys. Can you observe that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much that we did. But yeah, I mean another thing, guys. Let me try to inspect that. Okay. Let me inspect it, and let me try to bring that at the bottom. I'll try to minimize it. Not bottom. I'll keep it this one on the right itself. Maybe reduced. Okay. Now, if you observe, guys, I'm trying to resize it. The moment I resize it, what is happening is now if the size is reducing less than, now just observe this part on the top right. This is the width and height that is being set. So the moment it goes to like 500, 570 width, 560, yeah, the moment it is going to 565 and less, it is observing that it is looking not the way that we wanted it to be. Okay. Now, at the same time, if I go ahead and see how it looks in the mobile, let's go ahead and try to see in SE, iPhone SE, how it looks. So this is not looking good. Okay. So if I observe in different mobiles, this is not looking good. But if I see in the entire browser, this is good. Okay. But if this is not looking responsive, if I observe that in a mobile phones. So for this, what I can do is, so we can fix this as well. There is something called a media at media. These are called some rules that we can use. Maybe I'll show you here. So let's say at media, and then we'll give certain max width to it. Let's say max width. Max width, let's say we'll give it as 800 pixel. Okay, just for the sake of it, and it will close. And what I can do is these two we have added, right, two classes that we have added, one third and two third. The moment it is less than 800, what I want to do is make that one third, instead of one third, let's occupy that as 100%. Okay, instead of just occupying one third, if I see it in a mobile, let it occupy 100% of the window. That is what I'm going to give it. So what I'll do is dot one third is that selector, and here I'll say width is equal to 100%. Okay, and also let's say margin is 8 pixel. Just, and then I can go ahead and say 2/3, which is also the class that we have created. And here also I'll say width is equal to 100%. Okay. And margin is 8 pixel. So what will happen now is, I'll show you. These are called as creating the website response, you guys. The same website can be looked and feel different way in different devices. Okay. Now let's see this. Now this is what your website looked like currently. And now if I go ahead and inspect that and go to a responsive and just keep observing here the moment that I'm reducing. Okay. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to reduce, just observe the uh, uh, here, the dimensions here. Okay. So the moment it is reducing less than 100, so far it is 900, 980, 800. Yeah. The moment it goes to 800 and less, it will occupy 100% of the viewport. That is what we are trying to say in our code. The moment the max width is coming less than 800, so maximum 800, but if it goes below 800, then these two sections that we have created make their width as 100% of the viewport, which is what is happening now. If you observe, it is 806, and if I reduce to less than 800, okay, 801, now 789, 798, now this is occupying 100% of the viewport, 100%. Okay. So you, what you can see is 100% of the viewport, and now in different devices your website would look much better now. Okay. They are looking much better because they are occupying like 100% of the viewport. So are you getting this? How we can do that? The same website can made to look and feel as very different in different devices. These are called the responsive websites. Make sense, guys?
Yes, sir.
All right. So any questions for you so far? So we have completed the entire building of the online resume using HTML and CSS, like the way what we wanted our mockup to do like. Okay. This is what we have done. And this is a good exercise. I encourage you to go back and do the similar thing, practice it, and the more you do it, the better you'll become. Okay. So I encourage you to, whatever you have learned, so many things that we have learned, we have put that to use using this simple exercise, creating a simple online resume of yours. And I want you to create your own resume using this and publish it on GitHub or any other cloud. Okay. All right, guys.
Yes, sir.
Any questions you have so far? You can ask me now.
No, sir.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you, and you guys can leave now. You guys have a good night, and we'll see you soon. All right. Thank you.